You know, it's been really hot lately, and if you're like me, you want to stay hydrated, you probably have a reusable water bottle just like this.
In the last few years, these handy bottles have become a viral sensation,
This water bottle will make you want to drink water all the time.
with one particular brand even becoming the fashion accessory to flaunt.
Here's why people are obsessed with Stanley Cups.
But this made the news recently. People shocked by the amount of mold in their reusable water bottles, with one user even claiming to have gotten sick because of the mold in her water bottle. A US-based study goes further to suggest that our reusable water bottles can gather more bacteria than our kitchen sink, computer mouse, and believe it or not, even our toilet seat.
So in this episode of Talking Point, I'm on a mission to find out just how clean our reusable water bottles are here in Singapore. And should we be worried about what could possibly be brewing in here?
To start off, this group of regular reusable water bottle users will be giving up their bottles for a lab test.
I use my bottle when I go to work.
I use my water bottle every day.
Every day at school and work.
I use my water bottle every day.
This is my water bottle, and this is my 5-year-old daughter's water bottle.
I mostly drink water from my bottle, but once in a while, I put Ribena in it as well.
I usually store mostly water in my water bottle, but on rare occasions, I do have other drinks such as iced lemon tea, other flavored soft drinks even.
Usually just plain water.
Plain water.
So do you think your bottle is clean?
I would believe that our water bottles are pretty clean.
I think it should be fairly clean.
Should be clean.
Decently clean.
In total, I have 10 plastic reusable water bottles, and I'm sending them to a lab to find out if they are really as clean as we think they are.
What we can tell from our real-time sequencing analysis is that all of the water bottles had some levels of bacteria.
And which had the highest bacteria count?
For the bacteria category, this one had the worst. I did notice that there was quite a bit of grime on the inside of this one. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh wow, yeah.
Actually,
now that I look at it, you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
But guess what? These guys also had mold.
Oh, so these 6 bottles had bacteria and mold.
That's correct. I noticed that there seemed to be quite a bit of visible mold.
Yeah, I can see like the black stuff. And in fact, I just noticed this here too, even here.
There you go.
Even though this bottle, from what my understanding, no one was drinking from it. It was stored in the refrigerator. You know, you pour it out when you need a cold drink.
So maybe it's surprising since it was stored in the refrigerator, but things can still grow even at lower temperatures because you're going to take it out. It might sit on the bench or on the countertop for a little while. So things will grow, but maybe at a slower rate.
So of the lot, which had the highest bacteria and mold?
So that is actually in correspondence with the ones that had the highest bacteria and the lowest bacteria.
So this had the highest, the most amount of bacteria and mold, and this had the least bacteria and mold.
Yeah.
So of the 10 bottles that we tested, to discover that they all had bacteria, okay, not entirely surprising. But that 6 out of 10 of them had bacteria and mold, now that's a little bit worrying.
We're presenting the results to our viewers who handed their water bottles over for the test.
I rinse it every day, so I'm quite surprised.
I've discovered that our reusable water bottles harbor bacteria and even mold. 6 out of the 10 bottles we tested had total bacteria and mold scores of between 70 to nearly 100,000. Anything above 55,000 is considered elevated numbers, which can be potentially dangerous. Are we not washing our bottles enough? I did a call out on Instagram asking you how often you clean your bottles.
And I wonder if I'm even cleaning it the right way.
We got more than 1,100 responses. Only 52% say you wash your bottles daily. 19% say you wash it 2 to 3 times a week. Almost a similar number, 18% say just once a week. And 11% say only once a month. Does how often you wash your bottle really matter? We're revealing the results of our lab tests.
I wash it every day with water and then every other day with soap. I dismantle my bottle and then use soap and sponge and clean every part of the bottle, especially the mouth area.
So our test actually shows that your water bottle had the lowest levels of bacteria and mold. It's among the cleanest.
Oh yeah. That's great, that's great.
Your bottle had relatively high levels of bacteria compared to the others, and mold was also present in it.
Mold. I'm surprised that there's a high level of bacteria and mold because I rinse it every day and then I clean it thoroughly once a week. I'm wondering where the mold would come from. Like, have I not been washing it thoroughly?
So I actually rinse my water bottle every day, but with just plain water. And I wash my water bottle with soap and water roughly once every 3 weeks to once a month. I was expecting some levels of bacteria in my water bottle, but I was shocked to find out that there was mold detected on my water bottle as well.
I clean my bottle once a week, usually just rinse it. But once every 2 weeks, I would add soap to the bottle.
Your water bottle has among the highest levels of bacteria and mold.
Oh, actually I'm not that surprised because I don't clean my water bottle regularly.
I wash my water bottle once a week and not daily because I store mainly plain water, so I don't think it's necessary to wash every day.
Your water bottle has the highest levels of bacteria and mold among all the bottles that we tested.
I did not expect my bottle to have the highest amount of bacteria and mold because I only drink plain water from it.
Turns out, simply rinsing daily may still lead to elevated levels of bacteria and mold in your water bottle. But the ones that had the highest scores among all the bottles we tested were rinsed with water just once a week. So, how often should we be cleaning our bottles? Water quality expert Kwokchenko is going to show me.
So how is it our reusable bottles become this hotbed for bacteria and mold?
Well, when we consume food, we have food particles in our mouth. And once we bring this water bottle to our mouth to drink, the food particles actually get transferred into the water bottle. And some of them can get stuck within the water bottle too. These food particles actually serve as food for bacteria and mold. And this bacteria and mold will start growing within your water bottle.
So even for those bottles that were washed daily, there was still bacteria and mold in them. Why is that the case?
Well, I would say that daily washing is still not good enough because it depends on how well you wash it. And I would recommend thorough washing.
And what do you mean by thorough?
Thorough involves at least using a brush with detergent. Shall I show you how we do it?
Yeah, sure.
Over here we have some different water bottles, as well as brushes plus detergent. So let me show you how we do a thorough washing.
Okay.
Let's take this water bottle for example. Which part do you think will be the dirtiest?
Well, I'm sure inside the cap, like around the rim.
Yeah, right. I would pay special attention to this portion here, as well as within the cap itself. So what I'll do is I'll brush this part really, really hard. I will do the same for the cap as well. Now for the inside of this water bottle, I'll do a hard scrubbing.
A bunch of our respondents said they don't wash it every day because it's just plain water, so it should be fine.
We are eating every day, and our food stuff remains in our mouth. They get transferred to the water bottle, and over time, the food stuff can actually get accumulated in all these recesses here.
Okay.
And this part as well. So over time, bacteria and mold will still grow in there.
Even if it's just water?
Yes, even if it's just water. This one has a straw. I would say that it is definitely a lot harder to clean.
Okay.
You would need a wire brush like this.
Okay.
Going all the way, and I believe for this case, there is this part that can be removed. You have to remove them and clean them separately. This one, I personally wouldn't recommend a narrow mouth because it's harder for this brush to go in here. Well, so for this case, I still try to force it in, and likewise, you have to do a thorough job. Now look at this bottle here. It has this spout right at the top.
Okay.
And this is the part where your mouth comes into contact with. That is why food will get stuck here, and when you close this cap, the food will get transferred to the top portion as well. So when you are washing it, you really have to pay special attention to these two parts. And similarly, make sure that you are cleaning the inside of the spout as well.
So does it actually make any difference what kind of drink I put in the bottle?
It certainly does if you are putting sugary drinks inside, tea, coffee, syrups, then I would say the challenge is much greater. The reason is there are sugars as well as some of the drinks may have fats inside. They tend to get stuck more easily inside, and of course that presents a lot more food stuff for bacteria and mold to grow. And for those cases, I strongly suggest that you do a thorough cleaning every day. Over time, this bacteria and mold will form biofilms. And this biofilm has a tendency to actually impart an unpleasant taste and smell to your drink.
And what exactly is biofilm?
It's basically a layer made out of microbes, which includes bacteria, fungi, mold.
A biofilm of bacteria and mold can form inside my reusable water bottle if I don't scrub it. I'm about to see what this looks like.
Oh, wow. Whew. That smells pretty bad.
And what is all that bacteria and mold doing to our bodies?
So these are the ones that I'll be extra concerned about.
Out of the 10 bottles that we sent to the lab, the one with the highest bacteria count, which was used to just drink water from, was rinsed only once a week and never scrubbed with soap. This bottle was stored in the fridge and never drunk from, yet it had the highest mold count. Because while bacteria comes from food, mold simply thrives in moist environments, and this bottle was rarely washed. This is Professor Anderson Wong. He spent the past 1 week growing something for me. This is what we can expect to see in our bottles if we allow the bacteria and mold to build up.
So what we have is a biofilm. This is the kind of material that you will see microbes living and thriving like a city. They form a layer that protects the microorganism against antimicrobial agents. It's sort of a shelter for the microbe to thrive in and grow freely.
Oh, wow. Whew. That smells pretty bad. Are we having these in our water bottles?
Most of the time, we won't be able to see it with our naked eye. But if you let it grow and accumulates in layers, then it may grow to this thickness.
So in most cases, you're saying we won't even know it's in our water bottle?
It's largely invisible, but you can feel it. It feels a bit sticky and gluey. However, here I've prepared one sample to see. This is stained with a purple dye. You can see that it's more obvious, giving it a very deep purple coloration.
Oh, so all this is actually that biofilm that is growing on the inside?
That's right. Biofilm are largely invisible.
So it could actually look like this, but be this?
Yep.
I sent a whole bunch of water bottles to a lab for testing. They told me all of them had bacteria, and 6 out of 10 of them had bacteria and mold. So help me understand, because the list is long and it looks scary.
I think that most of them are harmless, naturally exist in the environment, and are present in very low relative numbers.
Okay.
The ones that I'll pay extra attention to is Pseudomonas and cyanobacteria. So these are the ones that I'll be extra concerned about. Cyanobacteria actually produces a toxin called cyanotoxin, and then when they are ingested, they actually can lead to abdominal pain, nausea, diarrhea. And Pseudomonas is commonly found in the environment, but the fact that they are found in the water sample goes to show that they actually may be transferred from the environment to the water sample. And they are also well known to grow biofilm, which gives them a certain form of virulence against the human beings. So you know our gastrointestinal tract and our oral cavity, they are actually connected at some point.
Correct.
So there's a risk that the Pseudomonas can get into the lungs through this way. It's able to cause a respiratory tract infection if it gets into the lung.
Oh, okay. And if I look at it, if I draw a line across these numbers, is this considered quite a high number? I mean, should we be worried about these numbers?
At present, I would think that certainly the bottle 2 and bottle 8, they are much higher in number relative to the other bottles, and that is to be concerned with.
Bottle 2 belongs to Tikwan, and Bottle 8, Jethro. They had elevated levels of Pseudomonas, a bacteria that can cause respiratory tract infections. These bottles were rinsed with water only once a week. The bottle which had traces of cyanobacteria belonged to Tikwan's daughter. The bottle was washed with soap and water, but only 2 to 3 times a week.
I will try to use more soap and wash it more frequently because I am afraid of the long-term health effect.
I would like to give myself the aim to wash my water bottle once every 2 days and also wash the bottle with soap once a week instead of what I'm doing currently, where I give my water bottle a quick rinse and wash my bottle with soap once every 2 weeks or so.
When it comes to water bottles, we have so many to choose from. You've got these guys, they're made of plastic, they're lightweight and affordable, and a popular choice. There are also these other durable stainless steel ones. Now they are usually insulated, helping keep your water cold for hours. Less popular, on the other hand, are these guys which are made of glass. They often come with a bit of a protective sleeve. But I'm wondering if the material of my water bottle can affect the amount of bacteria it can accumulate.
Prof. Sierin Lim has been running a test for us over the past couple of days. And I'm heading to a lab to find out what she's discovered.
We have here 4 different bottles made of 4 different materials that you will typically find in water bottles. So the first one here is made of polycarbonate, and this one here is made of polypropylene. And here we have one made from steel, and this one here made of glass.
Right, okay.
Translucent or opaque, polypropylene is a cheaper and more flexible type of plastic compared to polycarbonate, which is stronger and more transparent.
So what we did first day is we fill it up with about 200 milliliters of a medium called LB. And LB is a very nutritious media that allows any bacteria or mold or anything, microbes to grow. And the next day we remove the microbe and the medium and then swipe the inside of the wall of the bottles.
And what did you actually find?
So here what we saw is a lot of bacteria are left and then have been growing in the petri dish.
Wow, all those little dots there.
Yes, each of the little dot is one colony of bacteria. So what we discovered is that glass has the least number of colony-forming units, followed by polypropylene, stainless steel, and then polycarbonate has the most number of bacteria.
Actually, I'm quite surprised. I mean, for instance, I thought stainless steel would have less bacteria.
So bacteria like to grow in a certain type of surfaces.
Yeah.
And a few factors that affect the bacteria growth on surfaces are wettability. So wettability is the surface property that is water-liking. So then when you put a drop of water on top, it spreads. And so bacteria likes to be on that kind of surfaces.
Yep.
There are also textured surface. Bacteria likes to hide in the crevices of the surface. Porous materials typically would also be a house for the bacteria to grow.
So these two are both plastic, but why are the results so different?
Because they are different kind of plastic, they are made of different materials, and different materials have different properties. For example, polypropylene has lower wettability compared to polycarbonate, which means that polypropylene will repel more water, while polycarbonate will attract water. Then if we look at other types of materials, for example, glass, glass has less texture, and it also is less porous, so then it typically less prone to bacteria growing on it. Steel is typically not the kind of material that bacteria like to grow on. However, there may be other dominating factors that result in the final property of the materials that makes up these bottles.
So you're saying that at the end of the day, it's not just the material of the bottle, but I guess all these other factors like the cap here could have contributed to the bacteria count and therefore this final result.
That's correct, and if we really want to know more, we need to do more experiments.
So I've learned that no matter what kind of reusable water bottle you might have, the only way to really rid it of bacteria and mold is by giving it a good clean. That means a thorough scrubbing, using detergent. Just rinsing it alone is not good enough. Or you can also use one of these brushes. This one helps you dig into the rim to give it a good clean over there.
Alternatively, you can also try popping in one of these cleaning tablets once a month to give your bottle a deep clean.